I look fucking good in a scarf. Kind of sad I don't go outside. I kind of want to wear this somewhere. Hello everybody and welcome to yet another video. In today's video we are going to be ranking, hold on, I have the number somewhere, 27 of the most recognizable faces in Sunset Valley, you know, the world from The Sims 3, and I sorted them into what I think their Hogwarts house would be based off of their personality and how they are as people. Now, if you do not know anything about Sunset Valley pre-mades, do not worry, because I gotta admit, I didn't know 50% of these Sims and learned about them through the course of making this video. So it's educational for everyone. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know I did not think of this video idea by myself. I actually stole it from a commenter on Plumbella's community tab post, Kenna Holman. Thank you for your video idea. You probably don't even know I exist. So, first and foremost, we are going to go to the iconic woman herself. Whoopsie doopsie, I have the layer fucked up. Landgrab. So Kaylin is primarily known for her role in The Sims 2. She's basically banging Don Lothario, Daniel Pleasant, all at the same time. Good for you, Kaylin. You scored some fucking handsome men in Pleasant View. Probably the two most handsome men in Pleasant View. But in The Sims 3, you have baby little child version of Kaylin. I honestly feel kind of bad for Kaylin because in her bio, it like explicitly states that she's always the one cleaning up after her father and her brother and her aunt. It really makes me feel for Kaylin. Like, she's so young, but she has to take on so much responsibility. Oh, and also another cool thing about Kaylin is her outfit is totally based off of like a maid's outfit, like the maid outfit from The Sims 2, which I think is really funny that even as a kid, she's like wearing the maid outfit. Anyways, just because she cleans up after her siblings, I would say she's a Hufflepuff. Kaylin's a Hufflepuff. At least Sims 3 version of Kaylin is a Hufflepuff. I feel like, and this is a weird combo, but I'm gonna say it anyway, Sims 2 version of Kaylin teeters on the line of Hufflepuff and Slytherin, but Sims 3 version of Kaylin, when she's a kid and she's all sweet and innocent, definitely is 100% full-blooded Hufflepuff. Moving on, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeffrey Landgrab. One of the most handsome Sims, I think, to roam Sunset Valley. Seriously, this guy is incredibly handsome. And I think what's even more handsome about him is that he's a doctor, so he's got shmoney. Now you may say, Maddie, Jeffrey Landgrab. You're saying Jeffrey Landgrab is attractive? Yes, bitch. I'm saying Jeffrey Landgrab's attractive. Do not think of Sims 4 Jeffrey Landgrab because they did him so dirty in Sims 4. What happened? What the fuck happened? So obviously Jeffrey is related to the Landgrab lineage. He actually married his wife Nancy and took her last name, Landgrab. It's also kind of implied he basically married her for the money. I mean, I wouldn't say he doesn't love Nancy. I think he kind of is a little bit more money motivated than love motivated. I am going to say Slytherin because Slytherins are very cunning, they are very resourceful, and I feel like those words pretty much sum up Jeffrey Landgrab pretty well. Next up, we have the woman, the myth, the legend herself, Nancy Landgrab. Guys, I don't know why I can't control T Nancy, like she keeps getting smaller and smaller. I'm actually startled. What, Nancy girl, why does she keep getting smaller? Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Yo, I just hit warp on her and now I'm dragging her in uncomfortable ways. What's going on with my Photoshop? What is that? Okay, we're just gonna go with this warped image. So Nancy clearly is married to Jeffrey. She's kind of like the bad bitch in the relationship. Like, I feel like Nancy could do without Jeffrey and she would be doing just fine in her life. She's very career focused and rightfully so. She's a vice president in the business career, so she's really high up. She's workaholic, snob, ambitious, charismatic, and perfectionist. Once again, I feel like this just is like outwardly Slytherin to me. She's very resourceful, very career driven. I just can't get over this fucking image. image. What the actual fuck is that? Next up, we have Malcolm Landgrab, the son of both Nancy, distorted Nancy, and Jeffrey. Now, he's kind of like the one that disrupts the rhythm of the Landgrab family. Like, the Landgrabs are pretty well known for being manipulative, cunning, resourceful, ambitious, all that sort of Slytherin stuff. Malcolm is kind of like the antithesis of that. In fact, his traits are good, ambitious, and bookworm. So he very much so is polar opposite of his parents. For that, I mean, I feel like he could go any way here. He could go Hufflepuff, he could go Gryffindor, he could be Ravenclaw. But I feel like because he's a bookworm, I feel like, and ambitious, I really do feel like he would be a Ravenclaw. So we're gonna put him right in Ravenclaw. He also kind of just looks like a dorky little kid. He's cute. He belongs in Ravenclaw. Next up, we have one of my favorites from Sunset Valley, Mortimer Goth, guys. We have little Morty. Sims 3 Mortimer Goth is artistic, grumpy, and ambitious. I really like those traits. Now, I'm getting like serious Hufflepuff vibes from Mortimer. I don't know why. I feel like definitely like the artistic side of Mortimer really makes me feel like he's a Hufflepuff, but I can also kind of see him being like a Gryffindor. He gives me very much so like Harry Potter sort of vibe. Maybe mine is like the artistic side, but Harry Potter's pretty ambitious. He's also pretty grumpy at times. And also, Mortimer just like flat out looks like Harry Potter, like the black hair, the dark eyes. I mean, I guess Harry Potter has green eyes, but you get my point. But I think just for the fact that he's artistic, I'm gonna put him in Hufflepuff. Next up, we have the queen, Agnes Crumplebottom. Now, Agnes has actually been in every game minus The Sims 4. Looking at you, Sims 4. But basically, Agnes's backstory is that while she was on her honeymoon, her husband died to an unfortunate accident. And something really sad actually is in Agnes's house in Sunset Valley, she has like a half-painted, half-tiled baby room. It is the most heartbreaking thing ever. So it clearly shows that she was planning on having children and having like a life with her husband, but unfortunately he passed away. Now, despite her kind of being a loner and being grumpy, those are two of her traits, her husband was, Robert Crumplebottom, her old husband, was a famed philanthropist, and a philanthropist is like somebody who donates a lot of money to charity and that sort of thing. Despite her kind of being an asshole, I feel like some of her husband's like charitable acts would sort of rub off on her. So for that, I think I would probably put her in, I would just put her in Slytherin. I mean, Sims 2 Agnes Crumplebottom definitely deserves to be a Slytherin because she's just always hitting people when they do romantic shit in public with her bag. But I feel like Sims 3 Agnes Crumplebottom is different in that regard because she's not quite as bitter as she is in Sims 2 yet. If you don't know, on the official like Maxis Sims franchise timeline, The Sims 3 is supposed to take place before The Sims 2. So that's why you see a young Agnes Crumplebottom in Sims 3, whereas in Sims 2, she's like this old sort of shriveled up lady. And yes, The Sims 3 did come out after Sims 2, but in like the official timeline, The Sims 3 is actually supposed to take place before The Sims 2. Anyway, so that goes to say Sims 2 Agnes, definitely a Slytherin. But Sims 3 Agnes, you know, she's not as bitter as she is in Sims 2 quite yet. I'm having a really hard time sorting Agnes. I'm gonna put her in Gryffindor. I really am gonna put her in Gryffindor. I feel like her heart before her husband died was in the right place. As you guys know, she gets pretty bitter in her old age. Next up, we have Bella Goth, little tiny Bella Goth. This is when she was only a child in The Sims 3. Obviously not married to Mortimer yet, hasn't had Cassandra and Alexander yet, hasn't been abducted yet off of Don Lothario's balcony. Bella's traits in Sims 3 are lucky, brave, and good. It's kind of ironic that one of her traits is lucky because getting abducted by aliens is clearly not that lucky. And maybe it's because she's dressed in all red, but definitely the brave and the good trait scream Gryffindor to me. They really scream Gryffindor to me. And of course, she just loves red. So I gotta put her right next to Miss Agnes in Gryffindor. Next up, we have Bella's older brother, Michael Batchelor. Michael's kind of a boring character to me. His bio says that he's the ideal son, has lots of friends at school, and loves to be outside playing any sport. He's literally just like the average sort of teenage boy. There's nothing really fun or like interesting or quirky about him in any way. He's loved the outdoors, smoozer, athletic, and friendly. This guy's so boring. Because he is athletic, and I feel like all the fucking Gryffindors in the world are athletic, I swear to God. I feel pretty comfortable putting him in Gryffindor right beneath his sister. Next up, we have one of the most handsome guys, I think, in Sunset Valley, Hank Goddard. Hank describes himself as free like the wind, and his fiance agrees. Wait, is this going to work? And then one of his traits is commitment issues, so it's pretty much hinted that he's not gonna last very long with Pauline because he has commitment issues. Now, Hank's outfit, I don't know if you guys have seen it, it's so tragic. Like, he wears these fucking, like, what is this outfit, dude? These shorts with the fucking flip-flops. Oh God, what are you thinking? He's also got the hidden trait can apprehend burglar, which is really interesting. I think he's pretty Gryffindor to me. I mean, he can apprehend burglars. He's brave in that regard. Gryffindors are definitely brave, and he's charismatic too. And I feel like Gryffindors are so outgoing. Like, even if all the members in Gryffindor house are not outgoing, I definitely feel like they have, to some extent, some outgoing personality. Next up, we have Thornton Wolf. And let me just put this guy right in Slytherin, and let me tell you why. First of all, to me, Thornton seems like the type of guy that to get to the top of his career, he wouldn't really care on who he has to step on or step over to get there. That's pretty evident because he's a corporate drone, which is only level 4 of the business career. What the fuck? I thought corporate drone was higher up than that. Anyways, Thornton has really expensive tastes. Like, he likes lobster thermidor. He's ambitious, which I think the ambitious trait could kind of line up with more houses than not. But I think it's pretty much associated with Slytherins and Gryffindors the most. Thornton's gonna sit nice and complacent under Jeffrey. Next up, we have Christopher Steele, who makes beautiful babies, but is fucking boring as all hell. So literally, Christopher's storyline is that he likes fishing. He likes being outdoors. I cannot make this shit up. He is this boring, yes. He's pretty much like the saying, the all-American guy. Like, everything that Christopher is just encapsulates what the basic American man likes. For that, I think because basic people belong in Gryffindor, that's no shade. I just think Harry's pretty basic. I think he belongs in Gryffindor. He doesn't seem quite sweet enough to be in Hufflepuff, but also not smart enough to be a Ravenclaw. So he's kind of just middle of the line Gryffindor. Next up, we have Styles Mcgraw, who is actually someone I knew nothing about before recording this video. Literally all I know Styles Mcgraw for is being really good looking, and his traits are loner, loves the outdoors, neat, frugal, and light sleeper. So me sorting him into a house was not that easy. His bio is last to join the house based on a recommendation by a friend of a friend. Styles Mcgraw's excessive averageness is a mystery to all his roommates. So he kind of reminds me of Christopher Steele in that way, where he's kind of just like the all-American guy, kind of boring, just coasting along in life. But I think what's really interesting about him is that he's a music talent scout, and he has, what is that, 4 levels in guitar. Personally, I kind of associate the stuff of the arts with Hufflepuffs. Here's the thing, I don't think he's quite smart enough to be a Ravenclaw. I mean, we're talking like big brains, like reads books on the daily. I'm gonna put him in Hufflepuff just for the sole fact that he really likes music. Next up, we have Tamara, which if you've ever watched season 1 of my Leprosy Challenge, you will know that Tamara was a really big part of Leprosy Challenge. I just realized her name is probably Tamara, not Tamara. I feel bad now that I've been calling her Tamara for like 8 months. Anyways, what's really interesting about Tamara is that this Tamara right here is different than the Tamara we know in season 1 of my Leprosy Challenge. In season 1 of my Leprosy Challenge, Tamara and my founder got along so well. Like, they were the best best of friends, Tamara would actually autonomously take care of my founder's children. Like, I didn't even have to order her around to take care of my founder's kids. She just did it by herself, which I think is really interesting because if you look at her traits, she's very short-tempered. She gets angry kind of quick. She's hot-headed. Tamara is hot-headed, which I think is really interesting because you would think that she would get fed up with taking care of a child really quickly, but no, she actually didn't. So her bio states Tamara is a former party girl trying to settle down and begin a steadfast, productive life, but it's sometimes hard to forget your past when you're constantly surrounded by young, energetic roommates. Now, I would say that Tamara, to me, is probably a Gryffindor, and let me tell you why if you disagree with me. So literally half of these traits we could identify with the Gryffindor house, and specifically how Harry Potter interprets the Gryffindor house. Like, Harry Potter unarguably is very hot-headed. He is very short-tempered. There are numerous instances where Harry loses his cool on people around him. And also Hermione in Prisoner of Azkaban, Hermione punches Draco Malfoy straight in the face, which I think goes to show the quickly angered nature of Gryffindors. Okay, she's going right in Gryffindor house. Next up, we have Leighton Sakimoto. So Leighton's actually a single dad raising his son Sam, and Leighton has really cute and sweet traits actually. He's brave, good, family-oriented, frugal, and ambitious. Like, what a stand-up guy, honestly. He's the sort of guy that I could see teetering on the line of Hufflepuff and Gryffindor, but just for his like really kind and sweet nature, I'm gonna put him in Hufflepuff. And then we move on to Sam, who is Leighton's son. So once again, I feel like Sam is actually Hufflepuff as well, simply because he's artistic and excitable, which is like really sweet traits, and I definitely identify them with the Hufflepuff house. Now, obviously he's a toddler, so we don't really know much about him. All right, you are going in to be a Hufflepuff. Next up, we have yet another toddler, Sandy French, who is one of my more favorite toddlers, if not my favorite toddler in Sunset Valley. So contrastingly, Sandy actually has a really different story than Sam, who is her toddler counterpart, and this is because of the way that Sandy is being raised. Now, her bio states that Sandy is on her way from toddlerhood to childhood in a very messy fashion. She's excitable, just like Sam, but she's also a slob. I feel like based off of these two traits, like I cannot really assign her a house in good faith. I think I more so need to base Sandy's house off of her mom, Molly French. Okay, wait. Molly French, which is my favorite sim in all of Sunset Valley. If you don't know, I will put a card somewhere on the screen where I go over Molly's backstory, but just to kind of give you the TLDR version, Molly is like an ex-party girl who accidentally got pregnant with Sandy, and she's kind of struggling between leaving her so-called party life and embracing her new role as a mother, which is why Sandy will more than likely grow up bad, is because Molly is still kind of infatuated with her old party life. However, I would argue that Molly is actually really intelligent, and this is going to sound really stereotypical. She doesn't really apply herself. She has, look how many, she has 7 skill points in cooking. I mean, not easy to get 7 skill points in cooking. You gotta be kind of a smart cookie for that. She's flirty, snob, daredevil, party animal, and hopeless romantic. So once again, these traits, I don't really identify with one house more than another. Maybe you could argue that daredevil and party animal kind of belong to the Gryffindor house, because we do see the Gryffindors partying a lot in the common room in the Harry Potter books. So she could potentially be a Gryffindor, but I more so identify Molly with the Ravenclaw house, and it's because of that reason that I said earlier. A dummy could not gain 7 points in cooking. It's just not possible. So I'm gonna put Molly in the Ravenclaw household. And to be honest with you, I think Sandy will grow up fine because Molly is no fool, and I feel like she could just as easily slip back into the maternal motherhood role as easy as she slipped out of it, because she is very intelligent. And I feel like all it takes is a kind of wake-up call for Molly to start taking care of Sandy. So I think Sandy will grow up fine, but I'm gonna kind of put her in the neutral ancestral house, I guess so to say, of Hufflepuff. And that's no shade or anything towards Hufflepuff, but I feel like some of the most human characteristics are a part of the Hufflepuff household. So Sandy's just gonna sit nice in the Hufflepuff household. Next up, we have yet another member of the single mom's household, aka Molly and Sandy's household, River McIrish. Now, River McIrish's bio states River is the epitome of the girl next door and wants to be a famous artist someday. So I'm like instantly just gonna sort her in Hufflepuff, but let's just check out her traits just for the shits and giggles of it. She's perfectionist, good, neat, and artistic. Yeah, she's going right in Hufflepuff household. Yeah, that was no hesitation. And then we have River's mom, Fiona. Now, Fiona is an investigative reporter. Her traits are genius, handy, vegetarian, charismatic, and a bookworm. She is the most Ravenclaw of Ravenclaws in Sunset Valley, I'm pretty sure. Like, this woman is incredibly intelligent, and she's a genius for, like, handy. You know, she's gotta be a Ravenclaw. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. She's a Ravenclaw. Next up, we have Gobius. Now, fun fact about Gobius, he's actually the only sim in Sunset Valley that kind of has their sexuality alluded to in their bio. Gobius's bio states Gobius Coffee is a well-meaning single sim who just hasn't met the right woman. Is this because he actually prefers the company of his male friends? He's employed in the science career, and his traits are never nude, childish, loser, over emotional, and flirty. So wow. So something interesting about Gobius is that he actually has the jack of all trades lifetime wish, which is to reach like level 6 of however many different careers. I can't think of it off the top of my head, which means he's actually a really well-rounded and intelligent guy. And I think that's kind of evident in the fact that he's a fertilizer analysis, and he's got a couple of skills here, and they're not, I mean, level 3 and level 4. So he's no dummy. So I think I'm gonna put him right into Ravenclaw house. Kind of seems like a Ravenclaw to me. He's definitely intelligent enough to be a Ravenclaw. So he's getting stuck right next to Fiona McIrish. Next up, we have Erin Kennedy. So what I know about Erin is actually very little. She's brave, can't stand art, tactophobe, unflirty, and athletic. Holy shit, she got dealt quite a hand by EA. Her bio reads, Erin Kennedy is a longtime military career woman who was recently transferred to town. Making friends has always been difficult for her, and she worries that things might be the same in this town. Will her fears come true? She's brave, which is definitely a trait that I identify with Gryffindor house. She's also athletic, so once again, kind of alludes to Quidditch. So I think Erin's gonna go right into Gryffindor. Those two traits pretty much solidify it for me. I also feel like the military career is like the equivalent of being an Auror for some reason, which is like wizarding law enforcement. I feel pretty comfortable putting Erin in the Gryffindor category. Next up, we have Marty Keaton. So his bio states, an all-around great guy. Marty's one drawback is he is somewhat neurotic. He doesn't think it interferes too much with his life though, so how would be having a baby in the house any different? And his traits are neurotic, loves the outdoors, great kisser, athletic, and friendly. I feel like Marty is a really nice guy. He just kind of doesn't got too much up here, which eliminates him from the Ravenclaw house. I'm more so leaning towards the Gryffindor house. You know, not to say that Gryffindors aren't intelligent or anything, but at the same time, I can also see him being a Hufflepuff because of how friendly he is. I like how under his children it says unborn baby Keaton. Like, what the fuck? I could see Marty going either way, to be honest with you. Either Gryffindor or Hufflepuff. I'm kind of having a hard time deciding for him, so I'm just gonna put him under Hufflepuff because he's friendly. I don't know, that was a hard one. That definitely was one of the harder ones I've had to do on this list. Next up, we have Marty's wife, Justine Keaton, who is currently pregnant at the start of the game. She's actually a policewoman, so she's kind of like a baddie. Do you guys know who Justine reminds me of? She reminds me of Lita Lestrange. They definitely look similar. Like, that is fucking crazy. Holy shit, they look so similar. I'm actually kind of shook right now. She's a loner, perfectionist, good, neat, and hot-headed. I feel like, and this might just be because I'm thinking of Lita Lestrange, Justine seriously feels like she could be a Slytherin. And this is the first Slytherin in quite a while, so this is shocking to me too. So she's gonna go right under fucking Nancy Landgrab. I forgot that happened. Oh my god, poor Nancy. Next up, we have the lovely, the beautiful Jamie Jolina. So Jamie's kind of a boring sim in my opinion. Like, she's very beautiful and all that. She's also got brains, which is cool. She's in the medical career when you start off Sunset Valley. More than that though, I don't know much about her. I really don't think she has that much of a personality, but for the sheer fact that she's very intelligent and in the medical career, I mean, that instantly screams Ravenclaw to me, so I'm gonna put her right in Ravenclaw house. We have the lovely Holly Alto, which I'm not putting her in Slytherin, although her family lineage probably will end up in Slytherin, but I feel like Holly is such a pure, wonderful person. If you don't know Holly's story, she's raised by the Altos, so Nick and Vita Alto, who are notoriously awful people, unarguably awful people too. But Holly is kind of like the antithesis of that. Like, she contrasts her parents. Her story is actually really reminiscent of Malcolm Landgrab's to me. So Malcolm and Holly are really similar in my mind, though I don't know if Holly's smart enough to be in Ravenclaw House, but she certainly is a really nice person, and I would love to do a playthrough of Holly, just giving her the life that she deserves, because she really is such a sweet sim. So I'm gonna put her, for that reason that she's so friendly and nice, I'm gonna put her in Hufflepuff. We're kind of running out of space here, so I guess she's gonna have to have Hufflepuff over her face. I'm so sorry, Holly. Next up, and I feel like I don't even need to talk through why Vita and Nick belong in Slytherin House. Let's just go over it anyway, because they're the last two we got on this list. So literally the first sentence of Nick's bio: an utterly ruthless businessman. I mean, do I need to say any more than that? He's workaholic, he's family oriented, which is actually kind of surprising to me that he's family oriented. I wouldn't expect that coming from him, but that's interesting. He's mean spirited, he's ambitious. So once again, this is another one of those sims, just like Nancy, just like Thornton, that I can see kind of stepping over people to get where they want to in life. And then Vita Alto, her bio is: as charming as she is unscrupulous, it is highly unfortunate for all the town that Vita Alto is a politician with any sort of power. That kind of goes to show that she's an evil, corrupt sort of politician, and moreover, she's the only sim that I have done on this list that has the evil trait, which is interesting. Vita's traits perfectly line up with like how I think of Voldemort. Evil, yes. Charismatic, yes. Snob, yes. Schmoozer, yes. And ambitious. She's literally fucking Voldemort in a sim. Like, how they literally made Voldemort. This is Voldemort right here. She's even got the cheekbones to prove it. So guys, that is my list of 27 of the most recognizable sims in the Sims 3 Sunset Valley and where I think they would be sorted. Tell me if there was anyone on this list that you are like,
they would not be in that house, Maddie. What are you thinking? You don't know what you're talking.
Let me just end the video on this note right here, please. If there was anyone on this list that I might resort, I would think, no, not Justine. I feel like Justine definitely belongs in the Slytherin house. Perhaps Aaron or Marty. I was kind of having a hard time with Gryffindor and Hufflepuff house for Marty, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will catch you all in another video. Bye bye.